NBA Straya, how are you going? Hey, Annie, you good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Tuesday, March 24, and basketball is pretty chaotic at the moment. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. You should also be pretty good. I don't know, I just spent the entire day with the Squid. He had a great time. We went and saw GOAT, the Steph Curry movie. It was fine, I guess. Anyway, I'm your host, James Clements, here in Larry Armour Studios. Let's get into it with today's daily. Was it a whipper or is it a Jim? Yes. Absolutely chaotic NBA day today because we either got a massive blowout or like a one-score game. There was very little in between. For a 10-game Tuesday, that is absolutely gnarly, right? We're all getting to the very end of the season. Everyone's a little bit cooked, but wow. The big one, I guess, is the Lakers streak comes to an end because of Dennis Jenkins, which is fantastic. Wemby's out there going, I want to win the MVP. Oh, and everyone's like, that's fine. We're probably not going to vote you for it. The toughest one was that Moses Moody just completely ruined his knee on a non-contact injury. That was horrible. And then the craziest, funniest, weirdest part was that the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, were like, you know what? That's enough of Cam Thomas. We're out of the Cam Thomas business. They waived him. Wow. That's a fall for grace from a dude who was averaging 24 points a game at one point. Anyway, let's do some very, very, very brief game wraps today because I've got to get out of here very quickly as well. And, you know, we don't want to belabor the point. The Lakers' 10-game winning streak comes to an end. Which is a bit of a crazy one, wasn't it? 113, 110. Dennis Jenkins at the very end of this game brings them home. This was awesome. Chaotic game. LeBron James, Reeves, etc. But 6 points from Jenkins at the very end to seal the deal was absolutely chaos. Luka had 32. Austin Reeves had 24. It was absolutely awesome. And LeBron, you had that moment of like his 10-point streak. He went scoreless in the first half. You're like, hang on, this is a bit sketchy. They came all the way back down, took the lead in the end. Dennis Jenkins holds on with the free throws and then keeps going with the free throws after another shot. It was awesome. Detroit, we're going to talk about the playoff picture in a second, but that's massive. Also massive, Orlando lose at home to the Indiana Pacers. What the hell was that?
What was that? What the hell was that?
It was pretty funny is what it was. Pascal Siakam ends up with 37. Absolutely gnarly gear. He blocks Paolo Banchero's attempt to tie it up at the very end. Hilarious fashion for Orlando. What are you doing? OKC, smoke Philly 123-103. J-Dub, he's like, hey, remember how I'm like the second best player on the champions? Yeah, I'm back and I'm okay. 18 points on 14 shots. Not bad. 123-103, Sixers just got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
Memphis also got straight killed by Atlanta, 107-146.
So he got straight killed.
Miami got straight killed by San Antonio, 136-111 rather. They got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
And what else? Oh, yeah, Chicago, not really straight flat out killed Houston, but they still beat them 132-124 in hilarious fashion. Houston managed to score in the fourth quarter, but the big problem was they couldn't stop the Bulls from scoring, which is a problem because they're the Bulls. Alpi Şengün had a 33, 13, and 10 triple-double. KD had 40, and they lost. What the hell was that?
What was that? What the hell was that?
You got Buzelis. You got Sextoned. Chaos. We also got, Toronto 143, Utah 127. Big win for them, I guess. Again, that's a bit of a kilt.
So he got straight killed.
Golden State got by Dallas in overtime. I was watching this with the Squid going, this is Dallas. This is great tanking. 137-131. The Extreme Zinger Meal back and forth.
Extreme Zinger Meal.
You also had Brooklyn got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
134-99. And the Bucks got killed 96-129 by the Clippers.
So he got straight killed.
That's what today's NBA is at the moment. This last little stretch is either just the good teams absolutely wailing on bad teams, or a super tight tussle as good teams just completely cook it. So to wrap that up very quickly for the playoff race, huge win for Detroit because they're going to be very, very tough to catch in the 1 seed now with that win because It puts them, 5 games up on Boston. I think the Pistons are already, I think they've got 11 games to play now, and with a 5-game lead, they should be home, despite a pretty rough schedule, but still. Toronto, good win for them in the 5 spot, just to keep them ahead of Atlanta, who are like, ooh, hello, we're basically in the 6 spot now. Check this out. Big win for them. Just disastrous losses for both Miami and Orlando. Orlando dropping that game to Indy, who had lost, 15 straight, is just absurd gear. Because now both they and Miami have lost 5 on the trot, but it also fails to get the Magic back into the fight for the 7 or the 6 seed. They're now 1.5 games back of Atlanta and a half game behind the Sixers in the 7 spot because the Sixers also lost. Brutal gear. The one that this benefits the most with Orlando and Miami both losing today, Charlotte sitting there going, yes, mate. We just went up in the standing somehow. We're still in the 10 spot, but we're much closer to 9 and 8 than we were this morning. A disaster for Houston that lost to Chicago because they dropped from the 4 seed all the way down to the 6 seed with that loss. So Denver scooched back up into the 4, which is just like, what's going on here? This is chaos. So good on them. So now you've got Denver, Minnesota, and Houston all on 28 losses. So I mentioned this on yesterday's show. The 4, 5, 6 race is going to be absolutely gnarly. The Clippers stay ahead of Portland with both of those teams winning today. Big win for Clippers with, Kawhi coming back and having a bit of a giggle, I guess. Something he'd probably do. And Golden State, it's actually a big win over Dallas because they don't fall any further back out of contention to get higher than 10. So there you go. Who was the NBA Straya Pro Performer of the Night?
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
With all due respect to KD's 40 on 23 shots, Jesus. Bada Bancaro's 39, 4 and 6. Pascal Siakam's game winner, 37 and 6, 35 for Tumani Kamara. He had an awesome game. He goes, 6 or 7 from 3, career high for him. Awesome game. 35 for VJ Edgecombe, the 33, 13 and 10 for LP Şengün. All very good, but none of them quite as good as Dennis Jenkins up against the Lakers. That was awesome. Stepping in for Cade Cunningham, drops a career-high 30, has 8 assists, shot 11 of 18, 4 of 5 from deep, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, gets them over the hump down the stretch because they go, hey, Tobias Harris, do you want to help out? He's like, I got you, boss. I'm nowhere to be found. Classic Tobias Harris, right? It's just what he does. It's like, hey, Tobias, so we don't have Cade Cunningham. The show's being run by Jalen Duren and Dennis Jenkins. You've been a max player in the NBA before. Can you get us 19 points? He's like, you got it, boss. 14 points. You're like, oh, fuck. That's not what it... Anyway. Spud of the night.
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Had a few spuds floating around today. I'll tell you what, the worst one was probably, and we don't dump on the rookies too much, but Nolan Traore is having himself a mare. He's hit like 1 shot in the last 2 games. 0 of 9 in 16 minutes today. Chaos. 0 of 6 for DeAnthony Melton, a.k.a., I don't know, DeAnthony Stabsville, if you've ever been to Melton. Otherwise, he had a bunch of folks out there sort of like having pretty rough ones. 1 of 5 for EJ Little, Javion Carter, Dort, Luke Kennard, the Duckman, Fultz, who's now signed with the Raptors on a 10-day, which is kind of nice. Remember Markelle Fultz, number 1 pick, complete bust after he got a bit weird and his shoulder was a bit bung, just like your mate Jim's. Fighting Ron Holland, 1 of 5. Tari Eason, 1 of 5. It was a big day for the 1 of 5 shootings. Yeah, 2 of 10 for both Jabari Smith Jr. and Kyle Filipowski as well. So, but my favorite. Thank you very much to Orsar Thompson. And, of course, Marjan Beauchamp from 3. They both shot. Oh, yeah. Chill. 3-11. You beauty. Who's old mate? No mates, however.
Old mate, no mates.
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 Yeah, who's got no mates? This one sucks. Moses Moody going down with that non-contact injury on the fast break layup by himself. Just knee collapses out of nowhere. It was horrifying. And yeah, like this is a sympathetic old mate, no mates because there is nothing worse than that happening live ball play. because he's just on the ground at the other end as the game continues. And there is just nothing more than an old mate, no mates moment on the court, because the Michael Porter Jr. situation, the all-time great one of him finding out about a team dinner that he didn't get invited to, is still, nothing's going to top that ever. But yeah, when you go down with like a massive, horrifying injury, just, it looks gross. Don't Google it. It's just brutal. But the play's ongoing. Yeah, it's got to be the loneliest place in the world. Yeah. So look, pour one out for Moses Moody. That just is absolutely all-time horrible stuff. Ugh, gross. Pantsing of the night. Donovan Clingan had 7 blocks against the Brooklyn Nets today, each more dismissive than the last. There were a couple where he's like, what are you doing? Bang. That's a pantsing. Like Wemby had 5 blocks. Calamari Boyles had 5 blocks today, which is awesome for the Raptors. It was a block party. We had Chet have 5 blocks. Some of these block highlight reels today are absolutely off their head, so go check them out. Bit on Lonzo Ball, Bronny James, and Ben Simmons.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Big day for the rookies. Ace Bailey, 37 points for your Utah Jazz. It's a soft J. 11 of 21 from the floor, 7 of 10 from downtown, 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Awesome game from Ace Bailey. He has very sneakily just been very, very solid and shown some pretty awesome flashes over the last month. Yes, they're playing in games that do not matter, but this is like the perfect time to play good and get accustomed to all of this. You know, next year is when it actually matters. And VJ Edgecombe, same sort of vibes. 35, 6 and 4, 14 of 28 shooting, 7 of 15 from downtown for him. Love that. You had GG Jackson rip off 26. You had Bryce Sensible have another 24-point game. That's just, you know, Dylan Harper even popped up with 21, 4 and 6 as well. Awesome day for the Rooks. So good stuff. All right, how about a quick Australian player watch then, Jim? Well, we had a bunch of the Aussies in action today. Giddy up, Josh Giddey in that win over Houston. He had 15 points. He didn't shoot it great. 4 of 14 from the floor, 3 of 8 from downtown, 4 of 4 at the line. 7 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 2 turnovers. Not bad, good size. Lockie Olbrick didn't play coach's decision. Dyson Daniels in the win versus Memphis. He had 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. Now, Dyson Daniels might have heard this on yesterday's show. Over the weekend, had his first game of the entire season where he's hit multiple threes. Now he's gone back-to-back doing that. That's awesome. Way to go, Dice. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover for the Great Barrier Thief. Jock Landale in that same game over Memphis, one of his old teams. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 4 from deep, 2 blocks and 2 turnovers. And Aussie Matty T in 19 minutes against the Brooklyn Nets. He had 10 points, 3 of 5 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown, 3 of 6 at the line. Bit worrisome there, but 3 turnovers and 3 steals. Good stuff there. Right, what about some game previews for tomorrow? How do we go on the picks today? With so many blowouts, I think we did go a few underdogs. Let's have a quick check and see how they actually went, because I was seeing the notifications pop up. We hit a few of them, so let's have a look. Where's Jim's profile? Oh, no, we went 4 of 10. Which one's me? Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, in retrospect, Utah and Dallas weren't good picks. Bloody Houston, what are they doing? And even Atlanta absolutely killing Memphis. That was a bit out of the blue. But anyway, 4 out of 10. Not great. Tomorrow, remember you can find all of our picks over at Double. They're all there. Usually they're better than that. Tomorrow we've got Sacramento at Charlotte. Charlotte are absolutely going to obliterate them. 17.5 points that line is. I'm still taking Charlotte. There. We've just seen today, right? Teams absolutely killing the crummy teams. Sacramento are trying, but they just suck and they don't have anyone good. So we're going to go Charlotte. New York versus New Orleans. Now, the Pelicans are trying very hard. They have half-decent players. The line is 9.5 here. The Pels, I actually don't mind them plus 9.5. Like the Knicks, good, we get that. Also have their moments. Pelicans trying, have some dudes. You can't tell me that, like, you know, Trey Maffey, Big Deke Bay, Zion, DeJounte Murray won't have a crack at New York. Be interesting one at least. I'll take the plus 9.5. Cleveland, Orlando, with the Magic Men on a back-to-back on the road after being home against Indy, losing that game very late. They go to Cleveland. I reckon the Cavs will kill them. Minus 10.5. That's a big number, though. But I think that might have been just a real kick in the guts game for Orlando. So I'll take the Cavs. And then Phoenix, Denver. Big game. Devin Booker, Jalen Green up against Jam and Jamal Murray. Big Nikola Jokic. The Nugs are 4.5-point favorites, and we'll go Denver. And there you go. That is the best and worst stuff in the NBA today with NBA Straya. You beauty. We will be back with a big show tomorrow. Big hump day show. We'll keep talking about some of these playoff races and stuff like that. Should be pretty fun. Make sure you're following across all of the socials, obviously. Get around Footy Unfilterated. We're taping the round 2 wrap show for you tonight. Jim does Supercoach as well. NBA Supercoach show was very funny. And then Jalen Johnson got rubbed out just before tip this morning. So you're like, God damn, absolute chaos again. Anyway, and so follow all of those shows. NFL Australia, Jim does Supercoach, and Footy Unfilterated, as well as us, across all the socials and your podcast apps, of course. Jump in the comments and YouTube, say g'day. But that's it. Otherwise, this is NBA Straya saying, look, subscribe everywhere or I will fight you. And also, look after yourselves, would you? Later, Hosen.